Hello and welcome in, all you O9ers, PCHers, really awful pranksters, some psychic shucksters, that was a hard one, and junior private detectives, to Life on Mars, the Veronica Mars Rewatch podcast where we go through episode by episode. I'm Brenton.
And I'm Emily.
And today we're going to be talking about the Season 2, Episode 5 episode, Blast from the Past.
You know when you said somebody and you paused, it took every ounce of my self-control to not go, told me the world was going to roll me. You know, like...
Somebody!
Yep, it was there, and I did not take it, and I would like credit for that.
Yes, I applaud your self-control. I would not have had that.
It was literally every fiber of my being, because I don't have a lot of energy, but I also have an equal amount of lack of impulse control right now.
Right.
It's
so
like I'm punchy, I'm wired, I'm a little sleepy. I don't know why. I sleep for like 10 fucking hours a night.
It's like the TikToks where they like line it up with like a door slamming.
Yep.
Before we jump in, I did want to I thought in my head housekeeping, but it's not housekeeping. It's just the state of the world. Just wanted to reiterate Black Lives Matter. Breonna Taylor's killers have not been arrested yet, even though they did pass Breonna's law. So everybody fighting the good fight out there, keep fighting and keep going. Now's the time. For the people in the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone in Seattle, you're amazing. I'm very proud of all of you. I could never even envision something like that. So yeah, and also everybody take care of yourself out there. Places are reopening. It's COVID. It's scary. There's a lot going on. So
yeah.
Take a break. Also, I understand you can't fight all the time.
Self-care, so that's something that I think about a lot because I was raised in a politically active home, if you will. I don't know, like, sure, we had things to be active about, but, like, also it's kind of the lull years by the time I was old enough to go to things.
Right. By the time you were able to vote.
Exactly. Well, or even like attending protests and things like that. Like there wasn't really a lot to go to at the time because it was like Obama's president, but Bush got us in the war, and like the nuances were lost in the Central Valley of like liberal versus super progressive liberal. Like there, wasn't. That was not something that people were. I don't think
that was as much of a discourse at the time.
Exactly. It was very middle ground-ish.
Totally.
But being politically active and coming from a family that is politically active, it's really important to take breaks. Check your screen time.
Yes.
Is your screen time a lot higher these last 2 weeks than it's been in a while? Maybe put your phone down for a day.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe set timers on your phone. Like you can set how long you're allowed to be on apps. And like remind yourself that, hey, maybe I don't need to refresh Twitter for the 14th time. Nothing changed. Or what changed is out of my control. And I can learn this information tomorrow.
Yeah, totally. Definitely take that break. It's definitely an influence on your mood and your psyche. So if you can,
energetically,
it's
a lot. Take care of yourself. I posted some self-care resources up on the blog and the YouTube, but really though.
And yeah, I understand that's conflicting advice, but life is conflict.
Well, I think so. It's really not, because like if you want to sustain activism, you have to take breaks.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It'd be like driving a car across the country. You have to put more gas in it eventually.
Totally.
You are your car. Put some gas in.
Gotta stop. You
gotta stop. Even when it comes to like corporate culture or work or anything like that, when you think about like the drive or like the like entrepreneur or the nonstop mentality, like all you're doing is exhausting yourself, whereas if you take a break, you're usually significantly more productive after. So you're also just wasting energy if you're not taking breaks.
Yeah, it's true. Don't wear yourself out.
Nope. And be careful when you go out with the whole COVID thing, because you're no use to the movement if you're dead.
No, absolutely not. Wear masks.
Wear masks.
Scrub up.
And make sure that the people around you are wearing masks. And if people in your community aren't wearing masks, maybe don't go out in your community.
Yeah.
Do you really need your hair done? I don't.
No. Mm-mm.
But will you let me cut yours?
No. It is. Yeah. We'll see how long this goes. But yeah, just wanted to say that up top before we jump into the episode that I had a hard time with, for sure. I am it is the everybody lets Wallace down episode, and I don't like that.
Oh, I just consider it something that was written by men because it is a concept of girl on girl hate crime.
Very much so. They have Jackie go above and beyond in this episode, and I did not like that.
No.
And
well, but we're not supposed to like Jackie,
right? And they make great pains to do that. And I also don't like that this episode ends with a Jess runs away from Stars Hollow S storyline.
Yeah, but at least they didn't try to give us a spinoff.
Yes, very much so.
Gilmore Girls, they tried for a spinoff with that.
Right, and that's why Jess completely disappeared.
I don't know why they never aired it.
No, when you do backdoor pilots like that, like it usually means that there was conflict in the back end when they're trying to do it, or it tested awfully with test audiences.
But yeah, because I know there are a lot of, this isn't a Gilmore Girls podcast, but I just feel like
it's applicable.
It comes up a lot. There are a lot of Team Jess people out there, and I just have to tell them they're fucking wrong.
Yeah, we are.
Jess is the fucking worst.
We are a Team Logan podcast on the record,
and all Logans,
yes.
Really.
Yes.
He hasn't proven himself in Veronica Mars yet.
No,
and he really doesn't.
Well, in season 1, at the end of season 1, he was all right.
Yes,
like, we could get on board. Season 2, they de-emphasize him a lot, and it doesn't make sense to me as a strategy, or a way to build season. But
I think they were trying to build up the idea of Duncan, and then he tested so poorly that they were like, well,
I will have some news on that when we get to a future episode.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually conflicting information with that strategy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and just in general, Duncan's kind of a dud.
Yeah.
I think the character's fun, the actor's really good, but like he just, Veronica's life needs spice.
Mm-hmm. And
Duncan is vanilla ice cream.
Yes, he is. You mean the guy that bad shit's happening? He's just like, it's fine.
In real life, a Duncan is great. Like, what a rock.
Yeah, totally.
Season 2 Duncan. Season 1 Duncan.
Right. You don't want Fitz.
Yeah. Quotes Fitz.
Yeah.
But in television, which is not reality, which is very important for those of us that haven't left our houses and haven't seen a lot of other people to denote.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait to get back out in Neptune.
Honey, you graduated from Neptune High already, right?
Oh, God. No. Really? I did?
I keep having dreams of going back.
Exactly. I have to give a speech.
But yeah. Team Logan.
Mm-hmm.
All the way.
Yeah.
No Jesses and no Duncans.
No.
The older I get, the more I'm like, I get Jess, but I don't like Jess.
No.
It actually makes him even worse.
Yeah. Yeah, the older I get, the worse Jess is, but you understand why Jess is the way he is.
Yeah, I don't blame Jess.
No.
But I don't root for him.
Yeah.
The adults in charge of the show should have made him better.
Yeah. People still really, really love Jess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even in that Bring It All Back season.
Mm-hmm.
When they're like...
Bring it all back.
It's like Logan's supposed to be the dad in the end, and Jess is supposed to be like the Luke of that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no way. Get out.
Right. They try and set him up from the beginning as he's just like you. That's why we don't get along.
I fucking hate Jess.
I know. With a passion.
I do.
I
like the actor.
Yeah. Yeah. Milo Ventimiglia.
Mm-hmm.
You know when I really liked him is when he was on Heroes. He had the best powers.
What were his powers?
When he touched other people, he got their powers, and at first you thought it was only like, oh, when he touches it, he gets it for a short time. It's like, no, he just copies their powers for forever. So he just gets to get everybody's powers.
So he just gets bigger and better.
Yeah, And unlike Siler, he doesn't have to poke people's brains to do it.
The only person in my family that watched Heroes was my stepfather.
Okay, maybe Jim and I can do a Heroes Rewatch podcast. No, that'd be excruciating. I don't want to put that out into the world. There's only one good season, and then they just repeat it ad nauseum.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
It's rough.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I was busy.
I was not. Imagine that.
Yeah, well, back to Neptune.
Yeah. And where we pick up where the last episode left off, where Wallace comes back in from meeting his father.
I just understood the title. Blast from the Past.
Uh-huh. Yep, because his father is
Well, and
blast.
then the scene with Veronica and Lily.
Mm-hmm.
I get it now.
Awful.
I get it.
Nathan. Nathan is his father's name. I'm putting that into my brain now.
Nathan Woods.
Yes.
I wrote it down.
Good job.
Thank you.
I did not. And yells at his mom for not telling him. And they have a scene back and forth where she's trying to explain that Hank Fennell was his actual father in terms of like being there for him, which fair. But unfortunate that Wallace is having his earth shattered.
You know what I don't like about secret parent tropes, and in general secret parents.
I do not like this trope either.
One, I mean, in like the real world, it happens and shit. Is that like then you don't have the health history of the person you share DNA with?
Yeah, that's awful.
And like, what if he has a affinity for cancer, or he's got some sort of weird chromosome? You just don't know.
Right. Profinity for cancer sounds like he's like going out cruising for cancer.
Oh, you don't search for cancer?
I don't.
No, me neither.
I am.
You are a cancer.
But yeah, no, that's awful. Like you are completely wrong in talking to a doctor and you don't know.
Yep. And then who's that man we buried in Cleveland? That was my favorite line.
Yeah, I know.
It was like, oh, he's dead. No one told us that.
Right. I feel like that was going to be something I brought up. Is this is the first time we've ever heard about Wallace's father, quote unquote, Hank Fennell. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, we get a name and some mild backstory about him, that he was a good man. Which, sure, yeah, can understand that.
Well, and he signed the birth certificate. So was he there when Wallace was born? I assume so.
I guess, how does that work for adopting?
Well, I don't think... I mean, you can change it if you adopt, but I don't think it... If he had been there when she had the baby, they're just going to have him sign.
Right,
Like, he
okay.
can sign.
I see what you mean.
Does that make sense? 'Cause
Yeah.
they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could bring Joe, Tom, and Mary with me when I have a baby and be like, this is Joe's kid.
Right, and I signed for Joe. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Mary would be Joe's kid in this example. It's hard to trace the genealogy.
I'm sorry, I'll pick less Portuguese names next time.
Well, I signed for Tony at least.
Yeah, there you go.
Which obviously she did not have a fulfilling marriage with Nathan. It sounded awful, but
He was hiding drugs in the house.
yes.
Well, so what we learned about Nathan from Mom is that he was an undercover cop who was in the narcotics ring. Mm-hmm. And she's like, but he was coming home high and blah, blah, blah. And I don't think that was part of the job.
No, definitely not. You're not supposed to bring the cocaine home.
Well, and I feel like when we had the narc at school,
mm-hmm.
like he did sell kids drugs. Like I would love to know like the full insight. I'm like, was it oregano?
Right, exactly. Or is he like going into the evidence locker and being like, got some weed?
Exactly. You think there's an evidence locker in Hanford?
Well, so they're buying off someone, busting him, then selling it to other people.
I don't know. I was not a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do drugs.
Yeah, and you were not part of the police department on the other hand.
No, I was a PI.
Oh, okay, just like Veronica.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow, all these things I'm learning about you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was the one that, caught the undercover detective.
Hell
not
yeah.
doing his job correctly.
Right.
I'm just kidding. I had no idea who that man was, and I never talked to him. Until I got pulled over one day for eating Taco Bell on a swing set.
Yeah.
I wasn't pulled over. I was already parked.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think they pulled over.
The entire Hanford PD.
Mm-hmm. Came down on you with the full force of the law.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ma'am, why are you here?
Yeah.
Are you doing drugs? No, sir. I'm eating a 7-layer burrito.
Good use of time, for sure.
2 junior
And-
explorers, 5 cops,
Yeah.
2 small, 5-foot-tall white women.
That's your tax dollars at work.
18 years old. I was 100 pounds soaking wet.
But you could take them.
I mean, yeah. No, they checked my car, my mother's car, for drugs. Fun fact, my mother did not keep drugs in the car.
No.
They
Maybe just allergy medicine at the worst.
They did ask if we had any weapons, and I was like, she's a first grade teacher. And they're like, huh? And I was like, I mean, there could be like an X-Acto knife or some safety scissors. Like, I don't know.
Do colored pencils count?
Yeah. I feel like I could get you in the eye with a color pencil.
Absolutely. Do not want to get stabbed by Crayola.
And that's why I don't think the police are doing anything useful most of the time.
Yep, there you go. Yep, absolutely. Nail, meat, head.
But because I am white, he did have his gun out when he stopped us, but this was also a very small town.
Yeah, completely. And I think Veronica Mars shares your view.
ACAB.
Exactly. Including Nathan. But I guess we don't know for sure.
But I feel it.
Yes.
I don't feel good about him.
No, you got bad vibes there.
I got bad vibes.
And so they have an awful conversation, and Wallace is bummed and goes to school. And who's there to cheer him up but his good best friend, who is going to nominate him for the homecoming court.
Yes. So Veronica nominates him to be homecoming king. And then in another class, you hear a couple of different people. This one guy who sits behind Logan in a different homeroom class.
Everybody's favorite stoner, a Spicoli alike.
He is like, I nominate Veronica Mars. And people are like, why? And he's like, because she's hot and she solves crime, and that's badass.
Yeah, I wrote badass, smoking hot, and there's like one other thing.
Yep, it was just so fucking stoner.
Oh, that was great.
I would have asked for his hacky sack if we had been standing up.
Yeah, totally. But he would have been, I don't have any on me.
But yeah, he's in the same homeroom class as Logan. And as well as the girl that we helped find her dog a couple episodes ago. She was very excited about nominating Veronica as well.
Yeah.
And then, who's Wallace's?
Jackie.
Forgot her name. Jackie and Logan just start making fun of Veronica.
Yep.
Which I'm like, ugh. Bad vibes.
Totally. Very bad vibes. Logan out of hurt, and Jackie out of jealousy.
Fear. It's a fear of scarcity.
Green-eyed monster. As we all learned last week. But yes, we get a nice group of people that are like, yes, Veronica Mars for sheriff.
That's exactly what they said.
Yep. Get Keith Mars out of there. Let's have her daughter.
And so then they go to lunch, and Wallace is sitting there, and Jackie comes up to try to drop hints about homecoming and how she wants to go, and Wallace is staring off into space, thinking about his biological dad. Yep. And all the
tough shit that he had to learn recently.
He sees Veronica sitting by herself eating, and he's like, hey, I'm going to go talk to Veronica real quick. Which I'm like, okay, like, why was she sitting alone in the first place, Wallace?
Right.
Oh, you want her because you need her now.
Oh, well, I think they had sat down, and he did not know where Veronica was.
He wasn't looking for his best friend?
Yeah, I mean, he was, obviously. I think that's how I read the scene at the beginning, is he's looking around for Veronica because he's like, I need to talk to someone right now, and this relationship's really new, so I don't confide in Jackie. That was how I read it.
I was like, oh, okay, like I got woken up from my daydream, like, oh shit, here's Veronica in my eyesight, I need to go talk to her.
I see. But that's just me. I look for the good in Wallace.
You do. You're blind to Wallace.
I am.
Is that why this episode hurts you so much?
Yeah, it sucks. And because I think a lot of it is showing that just some of the lack of like support system that's around Wallace.
Yeah, but he takes it out on Veronica, and I don't like that.
No. But he's kind of rightfully, when that happens, he's kind of rightfully mad at her. Of like, hey, I like needed a friend, and you're like ribbing me. I need like you to be sincere.
We'll get to that when we get to that. I don't read it that way at all.
Okay.
I think he's kind of being a dick.
Lashing out a bit.
Yeah.
Sure. For sure. But I think it comes from a place of that.
Well, I think he's hurt, but I think hurt people. It's not an excuse. But we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
So then Veronica's like, oh, what's your biological dad like? Tell me more, because he tells her about it.
Uh-huh.
And then Jackie comes up, and Veronica's like, hi, Jackie. And Jackie makes a comment about them planning her a surprise party, like something snide.
Yeah.
And then ignores Veronica.
Yep, and stomps off.
And Wallace is like, I better go take care of that.
Hmm.
And I'm like, why? Let it go. And then we get back to Mars Investigations.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Where smelly steins have been picked up from the dump because Sheriff Lamb has been throwing away Keith's signs because Keith has a 12-point lead on him.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. So he's starting to try and get one up on Keith. Mm-hmm. Which, like, honestly, who wouldn't want Keith in there?
I want Keith for sheriff.
Yeah. Dude, we've all met Lamb. He's awful.
I mean, I don't know, though, because, like, I'm just saying maybe we should just, like, go down with, like, a significantly less robust police force. But
Absolutely, yeah. But in the parlance of the show, where there is a deep distrust of police, but not the idea that we could get rid of the police, Keith is the best option.
Exactly. And I still haven't figured out what the difference between a sheriff department and a police department is.
My God, yeah.
Are sheriffs for counties?
Yeah, that would make sense, actually.
We should really look into this.
Yes, we should. We'll come prepared next time. Yeah, as an elected official, it's probably for the county.
Didn't elect things for cities. Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, figure it out eventually.
Yes.
Where do we go from here?
To the palm readers.
Oh.
Yeah, where Jackie is getting her palm
Answers from angels.
Exactly. I also wrote down that name. It's a great name. And so she's getting her palm read.
And she starts her long con to fuck with Veronica.
Yeah, so we get her card getting declined there, which it doesn't really wrap back around.
So it's
she did that on purpose?
She maxed it out.
On purpose herself?
Yeah.
Okay.
On things that she bought there.
Right. Okay, that makes more sense. So then I didn't think that she actually did that for real when she comes up to Veronica in the next scene in the girls' bathroom to ask her for help. I didn't actually think her credit card got maxed, but I guess she did 100% so she could get Veronica on board, which just... The plan that Jackie sets in motion is just bananas.
Yes.
That is very complex.
Mm-hmm.
And but I do like Jackie walking into the women's restroom and being like, "Oh, Wallace told me I could find you here." Yeah. It's just like, excuse me, I think you pee in her office all the time.
Wallace said I could find you in the potty. Just like such a strange scenario. Mm-hmm. Her office, if you will.
Exactly. Her office with urinals. Not urinals, stalls.
So Veronica's like, oh, I'll help her because I feel bad because I'm trying to be supportive of Wallace.
Yes. Bad move.
Well, but if she hadn't, Wallace just would have gotten mad at her earlier.
Yeah, totally.
She didn't have a choice. No. Veronica's backed into a corner.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't know that she was being...
conned.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. But to figure out if her friend had taken her card and spent on stuff and bought a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Which she is very lucky that... I guess not lucky. She must have just known that her friend had a leather jacket and all these other items.
Yeah.
Bananas.
That they probably went shopping at the outlets together.
Right. And then jotted down everyone. Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
God. Such a complex pranking. But I guess, like, I didn't work for Punk, so I don't know what the amount of work they went in to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's too much.
Too much. I couldn't have done it.
I hated that show.
Yeah. Didn't like it as much as everybody else. Did you ever see the version that I think it got put on YouTube or something that they didn't show on TV because Zach Braff lost his shit and, like, cursed out a child?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, but
Good times.
Fucking with people's reality is really fucked up.
Yeah, I'm not a fan
it's
of it.
Gaslighting.
Yeah, totally. Which she does this entire episode.
Jackie.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's some good stuff.
So then we go back to Keith and Alicia.
Uh-huh.
And Alicia's like, I was missing Wallace's birth certificate when I went to tell him about who was on his birth certificate.
Mm-hmm. That is a, hard thing to get caught in.
You stole my papers. And he's like, I didn't steal them. And she's like, borrowed. They fell into your briefcase, whatever. And I'm like, I don't feel like that's where he was going with that. But anyway.
Right. But he did want to, like...
diffuse it.
Exactly, yeah.
Well,
but he did steal the papers.
He's like, why didn't you tell me your ex-husband was a cop? Well, he did ask her to protect her. She asked him to protect her from this man.
Right.
And she knew he was an investigator. It's like Duncan leaving the flash drive out. I'm like, you don't lay out cheese and tell the mouse not to eat. God.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, it'd be like, like it's nosy. You want to know.
Mm-hmm. And he got, like, that bit him on the ass.
Yeah.
He got his car totally booted because of it.
Yeah. And he was just trying to help her.
Mm-hmm. Another good use of cop resources, by the way, last episode.
Uh-huh. Once again, defund the police.
Mm-hmm. Boot the police.
If you need more information on that, you can look it up online. There's a lot of important nuances in that statement.
Totally.
Not simply immediately pulling the rug out from under the police.
No, it's funding services in your community.
Yeah, like what if we funded schools?
I know.
Since we've been defunding the school system for years.
Yeah. New things. Teachers don't have to buy their own materials. Pay them more.
Yeah, like what if like you just like gave teachers money to buy things for their classrooms?
That is something that I just never understood, that there is this, like, people always go like, teachers should be paid more, and there's just never, there's never any backing. Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, no, don't even get me started. And my whole family went into the fucking profession.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm
like, don't you want money?
No. They want to teach the youths and adults.
Yeah, no. There's weird people. I'll stick with my coaching, which my mother has come around to because it's like teaching.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, yeah.
There's the framing.
It's kind of like tutoring.
Mm-hmm.
It's like life tutoring.
It is.
It is life tutoring.
100%. It's
anyway.
Kumon for adults.
Did you ever go to Kumon?
No, I didn't. I went to... It wasn't Kumon. What was it? Oh, wait. No, I'm thinking of something completely different. I did, like, some outside tutoring, but, like, not Kumon.
Oh, yeah, because you were rich.
Yes.
I forget.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
It's like, what do you mean you had a tutor?
Yeah, I went to tutor in high school. It was a place like Kumon, but it was more like high school kids. I can't remember what it was called.
Wow. I just learned on my own.
Yeah. Some of us had to do that, and still we're not great at math. So then it's just like, why don't we just bump you down to the non-honors math next year?
Oh, no, we did things like calling our uncle to have him explain the math to us. Or that's how, when my cousin, she's a lawyer now, but at the time couldn't figure out how to do her math homework, and she called my mom, and we went down there to help her. So my aunt and my mother live very close to each other. My whole family lives within about 3 blocks. And my sweet, sweet cousin did not know that the odd number answers are in the back of the book.
Oh, man. We all have to learn sometime. We do. And it blows our mind.
I always knew the answers were back there.
Well.
Did you ever? But you don't read the... See? So this is where my habit of when I get a book reading the back is super helpful.
Right. I didn't want to spoil math.
You didn't want to spoil the end.
Ooh, I just know when I get this equation solved, it's going to be so good.
We never get to the end of the books anyway.
No. Yeah, that did always bug me as a kid. Minor OCD thing. That it's just like, we never finish these books. Why do we have all these pages?
Yeah, they did not plan them out well.
No.
But anyway.
Yes. There is no talk of school textbooks in Veronica Mars.
Not in this episode. But then Alicia's like, I was just trying to protect Wallace. And he's like, you didn't protect him. All you did was postpone the chaos.
Yeah. Keith really
because
twisting the knife on this
she
stuff.
tells him that she's like, I'm not taking parenting advice from you.
Yeah, which is...
It was just mean.
Yeah, it's just mean.
I'm sorry Veronica's smarter than you, Alicia.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you felt scared and threatened and you wanted to protect your kid.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, we don't go after kids. We don't go after Veronica. We don't go after Chelsea, and we don't go after Baron. Do I make myself clear?
Very happy that was the 2 you picked.
Who would you have picked?
I don't know, Sasha. Malia.
No, Chelsea was like abused by the media.
I know. I meant the second example.
Oh, well, yeah, I gotta pick Barron. That's only fair.
Right, yeah.
Ivanka's a fucking adult. We can go after her.
What was
She's making dumb comments.
Sasha's the one that's been like roasted for like going to Coachella and stuff, right?
Yeah, like going to parties, or like she smoked a cigarette with her friends.
Yeah,
or,
exactly.
She's over 18, she smoked a cigarette. People are like, she smoked at a party. I personally love that, like, imagine going to college with them and it's like you literally have Secret Service detail.
Oh, God. Yeah, I know.
Like, can you get protection if, like, you live with them? Like,
totally.
to take you to class?
Mm-hmm. I am sure.
I feel like then there's a target on your back.
Right. But I'm sure she helped bring people home all the time.
Oh.
I believe that for it. Because, like, how great is that? We need to get this person out of this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Round them up, boys. We're driving Lacey home or something.
Yeah.
Lacey's had too much to drink.
Oh,
I've never met a Lacey in my life, but that was the name I chose.
Well, I mean, I just, like, you have to think, could you imagine it being the Secret Service for the Bush girls?
Oh, my God.
One of my favorite things from Michelle Obama's book, this is so tangential, but
I don't know what you're talking about.
Was that the Bush daughters showed, they were adults by the time this happened, so I didn't want to say girls, showed the Obama girls when they first visited, so when they were little, all the secrets, because they did a tour of the private quarters of the White House so that the girls could see where they'd be living, and, you know, like how the Bush girls had been living there, because they'd lived there, you know, for 8 years, like these girls would end up doing. And they showed them, like, the one staircase where you can put a pillow down and slide down the stairs because it's like the hallway slanted, and just like all this cute fun stuff that I'm just like, oh, I forget that they were there for so long. And, like, well, granted, the media only cared about them, like, causing trouble,
Right. Of course.
because we always go after the kids. I'm like, oh, they're just two girls that wanted to party.
Yeah.
I mean,
totally.
Dad just wanted to party too.
Yes. Yeah.
Shouldn't have been running a country.
At their age, he was doing the exact same thing.
Exactly.
And worse. But do you last thing before we get off this? Do you remember the movie First Kid?
No.
Oh, okay. It was about the president's first kid being in the office, and his Secret Service noted funny man Sinbad.
No way.
Yes. I had to look it up. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it was Sinbad, so that's why I was laughing to myself also, because it's I had to double make sure.
Oh my God. So
he comes up a lot.
My mother loves Sinbad, and she is a master manifester. So
there you go.
Sinbad is everywhere.
He is.
She's like, not all of his comedy is appropriate, but it's funny.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. He's quite funny.
My mother's personal favorite is Sinbad's Sign of Strokes.
Yes, which was very funny.
If you need a little comedy in your life, just look it up. It's on the YouTubes.
Mm-hmm. Your mother sent it to me, and I cracked up. It was really funny. But back to Wallace. He's stalking at the Sack and Pack, and he notices his father walk in. So he sings "Papa Was a Rolling Stone" to him.
Mm-hmm. It took me a really long time to figure out what was going on.
Oh, really? I like the song, so I knew the song.
I was like, oh, okay, where are we going, Wally? Where are we going? And then he's like, the dad's like, whoa, if I didn't even know she was having you, and like her mom told me, and if she had given me a chance, like I would have quit my job to be with you, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, it's so convenient now that he's an adult and now that you're clean.
Totally, exactly. And he says that he sent all kinds of letters, but they got returned to sender, and hands him the stack of letters
that have mom's handwriting writing the return to sender. Which seems like a really good way to incriminate yourself on sending them back, because he's a cop.
Right. Instead of just like throwing out the letters.
Yeah.
So
shredding them.
Exactly. Anyway. Yeah, we get a real bad view of Wallace's mom.
Yep. Alicia was real frightened, and
yeah, it sucks.
So he's like, Mom said she gave you a chance. He's like, I tried to find you for years.
Yep.
And then we go back to school, right?
Yep. And they get the announcements of the homecoming court, and Wallace makes it.
And he looked at Veronica and he goes, "How many kneecaps did you have to break to make that happen?"
I also wrote that down. I'm like, amazing.
She said, "Only 4."
And then we go over to the other homeroom with the Veronica supporters, but Veronica does not make it, much to the happiness of Logan and Jackie, and they share a brief flirtation, and I throw up in my mouth.
I don't know. Like, if you're gonna be toxic, go be toxic with a toxic person. I don't need you near me.
Maybe because my tummy is sensitive and I don't like acid, so like when there's so much toxicity there, it just, gets my tummy and my heartburn going.
Yeah, well, I just say like we zone it out.
Gotcha. We pour some Pepto on it.
Exactly. Like we just throw some Tums over in that corner
Exactly.
and we go with it.
Here's some chalky candy for you that'll make your tummy feel better.
Milk of magnesia.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then do we get the Duncan and Logan going on their date?
Yeah, well, they talk about it, yeah. There's the flirtation at school.
So,
and I didn't know what he meant by hot shots. And I was like, what is this like a code for? And it's like, oh, they're going to go play a video game later.
Duncan's like, Logan, I'm an emancipated minor. You're an emancipated minor. Do you want to, which I'm like, are you both not 18?
I thought there was mention of Logan. Yes, there was
They're
that mention.
all 18.
Yeah, there was.
Veronica's 18 over. Like, everyone's 18.
Yeah. I remembered the mention being that Logan was 18 when, in response to his affair with Kendall.
Yeah, but I was like, well, maybe they're all, like, they still were technically emancipated minors because they're in school.
Right, maybe.
I
don't know how that works.
I know for work permits, you're an adult once you're 18 or once you graduate, but
But yeah, that's
I don't know.
And maybe Duncan's just joking because he could not technically be an emancipated minor.
Exactly.
Just nobody's checking up on the Kane household if they're around.
Exactly. So they go on. They're gonna have a date at Duncan's hotel room.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, why not? Have a date, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Have a little date. A little datey date.
Yeah. Sit in your boxies. Talk about boy stuff.
Is that what you do?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Play video games.
You've had boy dates where you sit in your boxies and talk about boy stuff?
Uh-huh.
With who?
Yeah, Herman.
Oh.
Me and Herman were just sitting out there and like, Herman.
We got him little dog boxies? Oh, that'd be cute.
That would be really cute.
I should get him little boxes.
What do you think you'd want on him?
Snoopy.
Oh, that. See, this is why I ask. You know these things.
She's like, what do you mean? Or Snuffy.
Oh, Snuffy.
He loves Snuffy.
Mm-hmm.
Herman is a big Sesame Street fan. Our corgi loves his Snuffleupagus. It was my Snuffleupagus, but it's no longer mine. He took it. It is his.
It is his.
He's
very nice to it, though.
He nibbles on it.
He does, but he's got a soft bite. So he
doesn't have a lot of teeth.
He's got enough.
He's got enough. I mean, enough to get his kibble down, but like...
And trash on the streets.
Yeah. If you don't know
nibble my nose.
If you don't know our corgi in person, he is sincerely lacking in the dental department. He's a rescue. It's a hard life for him.
It is, and his breed, his small dogness, have bad teeth stuff. Mm-hmm. That's my medical term.
Anyway, so then we go to the Balboa County Sheriff debate.
Mm-hmm. With the exterminator.
God, Sheriff Lamb.
Uh-huh.
And Sheriff Lamb drops Keith's looking good. Looking good. And then Sheriff Lamb's like, if you had arrested this man when he was driving under the influence, he would have never been allowed to be the bus driver at the school, and then he wouldn't have killed all those kids.
Yeah.
And we're like, what the fuck?
Yep. Seriously? What? Pulls out some random fact.
Mm-hmm.
Plain dirty.
Plain dirty.
What else would we expect from Lamekins?
Nothing fucking good.
No. Yeah. No. At the Neptune League of Women Voters.
Nothing good.
No. And then back at school, Veronica crosses paths with Jackie's suspect/friend, Cora. And does the like, hey, like, let's chat like we're friends. And she does that all the time. And I was like putting it together. I'm like, in high school, if I like knew who someone else was and we didn't like know each other, I would have never done this.
Really?
Mm-mm.
I talked to everyone.
I know you did.
But also, once again, as you heard when I was talking to one of my friends earlier, the school was not very big.
Yes.
The people know the people.
Yeah.
Off of a last name, I was able to identify who a kid I went to high schools with father was.
4,000 kids. So there were definitely kids that did not know me. But there was like, oh, you're this person and I've heard you reference before. So like, I know who you are. Oh, but I'm not going to like just come up. So hats off to Veronica for being so brave.
I think we come in with around 400 and usually graduated the class around 300.
Damn.
Like,
okay, your individual
like for
class.
one class, yeah. So then
Yeah.
that would be like maybe like 1,200 kids.
Gotcha.
Because
Yeah.
like everyone dropped out by sophomore year that was going to drop out, you know?
Gotcha. I couldn't tell you about that dropout rates.
Oh, we got, you know, it's really funny because like if you got pregnant, they like tried to send you away.
Yeah,
it didn't always happen.
They
but
send you to the freaking
continuation school.
I know they did that at mine too. It's bananas.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there is for our high school news, they did like some kid did like a no, it was for the film class. They did like a documentary on kids at the school, and like one was like on a girl that like got pregnant and the guy who got her pregnant, and it's just like I kind of like hung out with him, so it's like this is really weird, like seeing this background of like, yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, yeah, it was bad.
See, like people got pregnant in my school all the time, but like,
no documentary, no Werner Herzogs at your school.
yeah, I guess it was so commonplace that it was like more of an anomaly to not get pregnant.
Gotcha.
Actually, that's not true, but like, you know,
I understand.
you know, it's just like, well, if they don't teach you sex ed, it's going to be really hard to figure out how not to get pregnant. And instead of teaching us about how not to get pregnant, they taught us about chlamydia.
Cool. Yeah, same.
Genital warts.
Yeah. They show you the pictures. Yeah, good times.
And then we never learned how to actually use any of the contraceptive tools.
Yeah, no, not touched upon. But, yeah, so they make a plan, Cora and Veronica, to, go shopping and go hang out.
Yeah,
So-
have a girl date so that Veronica can see if Cora is using Jackie's card, basically.
Exactly. So then they do their thing, and they go back to Cora's, and Veronica's like, oh, let's like just see what's in your closet to like try and see if any of the purchases like
No,
matched
Veronica spills something on herself so
Oh,
she can
there you go.
change before they even go.
up. Right. And is looking around her closet to try and see if there's anything that matches the receipts. Finds the chicken costume to the El Pollo Loco alike.
The Pollo Pollo chicken.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm like I couldn't remember what it was.
Pollo Pollo.
And it's like, oh God, please don't tell anybody about this. And it's like, damn, Jackie is vilifying the Pollo Pollo chicken.
And so then they go shopping and they pick out their dresses for the homecoming dance and blah, blah, blah. And we get a snide comment that Duncan never asked Veronica to the dance yet.
Which
Because,
Space Cadet.
yeah, good God.
Yeah.
Then again, you didn't ask me to the dance.
No, I know. It was really awkward watching that. And you're like, you didn't ask me. And I'm like,
I guess we're not going to homecoming.
well, we are. Would you like to go to homecoming?
I don't know. I don't have a dress now. You didn't ask me.
Oh God.
I'm just kidding.
I did this.
I'm just kidding. We can't go to homecoming. We're over 21.
We are going to homecoming. We're bringing the alcohol, guys. It's gonna be sick.
So
We
just
gotta-
you and me on the balcony with a bottle of Prosecco?
We're going back to Duncan's hotel after this.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, we became those people from the town? The people that didn't leave?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm scared now.
Yeah.
And so Veronica calls Jackie's friend. What was her name?
Cora.
Cora's work. And she's like, what hours does she work? Like, I'm calling from the school, you know. Detective shit.
Yeah. Good detective shit. That's
And
really smart.
they're like, oh, she worked on Sunday, which are like some the times that the purchases were made on the card. So Veronica calls Jackie, and she's like, Jackie, it couldn't have been Cora because of this, you know.
Yep.
whatever.
She was working.
Yeah, she was working. And so Veronica hangs out with Jackie, and they they talk about Madame Sophia,
Mhm.
and they decide that
the TiVo
Veronica,
show.
Veronica should go on the show and pretend to be, like see if Madame Sophia is a fake to expose her.
Exactly. If Madame Sophia is the one that's
Using the
grifter.
card
Mhm.
because the purchases were made at the
Angels from
it was like the divination shop. But
Answers
that's
from
wrong.
Angels. Yes, divination. Damn, Professor Trelawney. How could you?
So many crystal balls.
Oh yeah. And candles.
Mm-hmm. And so she goes on the show.
Real quick, we get some fine dining with Duncan, where he treats her to some lovely burgers and fries, thanks to Smithers or whoever it is that works at the
room
hotel.
service.
Yes. And Veronica grills him about, in a playful way, about not being asked to homecoming until he's like, shit. Would you like to go to homecoming?
If I had been her, you know what I would have said?
Mm-hmm.
No. I would not.
Yep.
I'm going to sit in your hotel room. You can go to the dance. You were nominated.
I will be ordering room service on your card.
Probably wouldn't care.
Oh, right. I forgot he's on the homecoming court.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And then we go to Madame Sophia.
Yes. I wrote, this is John Edwards.
And this is no, it's more Sylvia Brown.
Okay.
It feels, as a child who watched both, it feels a little more Sylvia Brown than John Edwards.
Okay.
If I was going to pick a person.
Yeah, pick a psychic. Pick a TV psychic.
But yes, so before Veronica goes on, we find out that everyone in the school watches this except for Veronica. Basically, it's like a community show that just like everyone's into. I
would probably watch this too. This looks like a fun show, especially if it was in my local community. Yeah.
And even Duncan and Logan, who are having their boy date, stop to watch the show.
I know they stopped playing PS2 and or whatever it is.
Whatever it is to watch the show.
Mm-hmm.
And Madame Sophia has Veronica come up, and Veronica had fed information to the plant, so she brings it up like the way she's supposed to, like it feels like Veronica's in on the plot. And then all of a sudden Madame Sophia's like, oh yeah, and I've got another person coming in. It's an L, it's a girl, it's Lily.
Yeah, it's like crossing a goddamn line.
Yeah. And so then she makes a comment about a secret that Veronica had only told Jackie, and it was about buying breast enhancement cream as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Which made me think of, I think it's Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. They do like this little we must increase our bust little song about like increasing their boob size. And it's something that's just always stuck with me because I'm like, who the fuck does that? And then I'm like, oh, I guess a lot of people.
Right.
Because when you're raised in a society that only values you off of what you look like, it's important.
Yeah, you put a lot of energy toward it.
Exactly. Luckily for me, my whole family is just like, whatever, here you are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And kids are merciless about that shit.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
My mother saying things like, where God's forgotten just stuff cotton didn't.
Yeah. If she's saying that joke, it's a little different, I guess, than kids at school saying that.
Exactly.
But
she was saying that's what they told her. I think that's what they told her when she was getting her wedding dress fitted.
Oh,
that's what the woman told her. She's like, where God's forgotten, we just stuff cotton. And I was like, love.
That was definitely a common saying at school.
It's like a bullying thing?
Kind of, yeah.
I think that phrase is so funny that I'm like, I can't imagine saying it to someone to be mean to them. Does that make sense? Like, I would only say it about myself.
I don't think it's not like as in like, I'm going to say that to put this person down. It's like, I'm going to make a joke about someone behind their back.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, you're to your face insults in this family.
Mm-hmm. I get that. But
you're a victim to it.
They bullying me. Every time I walk into the house, everybody ribs me.
Everyone's like, oh,
Brenton, look who it is.
No boobs.
Exactly.
It's so flat-chested.
Got your training bra for Christmas.
I never understood that because I'm like, what are you training? Your boobs to be caged?
Exactly.
Anyway.
But yeah, even Wallace knows that like some shit's going down when like Lloyd comes up and they pan to like him and Jackie watching it. He's just like, excuse?
Mm-hmm. And then Veronica's like, Jackie's the only person alive who knew that secret.
Yeah. Go to hell.
I wrote down, Jackie sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. This is like way over the top. This is like crazy. Like that's such a we talked about it earlier, but complicated plan. Like what the fuck?
And we left this out earlier, but Veronica had bugged the sheriff's office.
Yes. Forgot about that.
Me too. By sending them a note from Kane Software. That's how she agreed to go to homecoming with Duncan. She's like, yes, but I'll need some Kane Software stationery. And he's like, why? Mm-hmm. And she's like, don't ask, just be pretty. And I was like, same, bitch, same. That's what I tell people all the time. Just be the looks, I'll be the brains. Mm-hmm. But then she sends a note to Sheriff Lamb being like, good luck, exterminator. And it's like a bug, literally, in like a little like glass bug that has a microphone bug in it, so that then she can listen in on the sheriff.
Yes. And while she's listening, she finds that Jackie's dad, famous baseball player Terrence Cook, is in there being grilled by the sheriff. Baseball. And is holding over some sort of gambling debts that he owes over his head to get him to do public speaking for him.
And so Veronica's like, ooh, I could use this to get back at Jackie in between DJ sets.
Yes, exactly.
Band sets. The DJ in between the bands.
Uh-huh.
At homecoming.
Yep.
These are all things I did not have.
No, we had
I think we only had
DJ.
one homecoming dance. We didn't have a lot of homecoming.
Oh, okay. There was homecoming every year.
We had homecoming games.
Yeah, and then you had a dance after.
No,
not on the same day, same weekend.
We did like homecoming, and they announced the winners of the homecoming king and queen like at the game.
I think they did that anyway, but then we had the dance.
I think we had one homecoming dance, and every other year we had like just like you had winter formal and
we didn't have that,
and prom, and then Sadie Hawkins.
We had homecoming and prom.
I always liked Sadie Hawkins as a concept, but I didn't ever like the themes, and I could never get it off work, so I rarely went.
Nice.
But, you know, the idea of like, oh, girls ask the guys didn't go over well in my conservative town.
Yeah, I'm sure. Goo.
I should have just asked random people and really scared them. In hindsight, you know, like when you know what you know as an adult, as a teenager, you're like, man, I could have really fucked with some people.
Totally. That would have been fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, really seems a lot more life and death when you're in high school.
And a lot of energy.
Totally.
Giving your energy to people is not always worth it.
But yes, she plans on doing that. And then at school, she talks to one of her classmates that went on the psychic show and says that she got a message from the bus crash. So she says Rhonda, her friend Rhonda, was on the bus. And I was like, wait a minute. Was that not the person that was in the election episode? It's like, no, that was Wanda. It's like, damn it. So I had to go back and check on that.
Oh, my God.
But yes, it was a literal message of when the bus careens off the cliff, which is awful. Mm-hmm. But she sends it to her own voicemail so she can
listen to it.
Exactly.
And we hear an explosion before the bus went over the edge. So we know that something blew on the bus before the bus driver drove them over the cliff.
Right. So then we get to the Wallace-Veronica blow-up.
Yes.
Where Wallace is trying to tell Veronica to let this slide. He knows... Well, he's being willfully ignorant of Jackie being
he's
an
like,
ass.
He's like, well, even if it was her, I'm asking you as your friend... like, don't you see how much I need you right now? And it's like, yes, for sure, definitely. But she brought Lily into this.
Yeah.
Like, that was a line that was so far crossed.
Yeah.
And public humiliation on television. And she's like,
Totally.
I just want... And the fact that Jackie then admits it, like, I just want to take Veronica down a peg. And then Wallace doesn't have the, like, gall or, like, the, like... personal like respect of Veronica to apologize to her after that, and instead he runs away with his dad. Like I can't. Wallace lost my respect.
Well, that's he's hurting a lot also, and then he's also at the dance and he just like sees like
Jackie trying to make out with Logan,
yeah,
and then
completely
Veronica
shit on him.
Veronica yell at him,
Mm-hmm.
at her,
Yeah.
for making out with Logan.
Yeah.
And
He's hurt.
yeah, but don't ignore Veronica. You don't shutting other people out when
Yeah.
you are hurt and running away.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's not okay.
No, I don't like that at all either.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, at least in this scene, he tells Jackie that he's not going with her anymore.
Yeah.
Just like, God damn it, Jackie. Which we all say, God damn it, Jackie.
We do.
You're being petulant.
Veronica does not take the CD with her of the blackmail.
Yes. But does tell Keith about, or shows him the message of the bus going over.
Mm-hmm.
And he's even like, shit, that is an explosion. You're totally right. Something happened.
Mm-hmm.
And she tries to tell Keith to use it for the
campaign,
but
to go public with it.
Mm-hmm, but he's like, no, we got to do this for the investigation. I don't care if people think I'm a bad guy. Like, we got to do this to like actually figure out
who did this.
Which
so he
good
takes,
guy Keith.
He takes the CD to Lamb.
Yep.
Leaves it with
Worst
him,
choice.
and finds the bug Veronica planted, so he takes it with him.
But yeah, it's just like Lamb never wants to do the right thing ever.
Nope. And then we go to the end where Wallace blowout.
Yeah.
Whole thing at the
At
dance.
the dance, there's a band playing. Everybody's dancing, having a good time.
Jackie does the Logan thing. Veronica
Exactly.
yells
They're
at her.
both
Wallace.
looking hammered. Yeah, Jackie tries to turn it back on her and being like, you got to pick one of these guys.
But you can't have every guy in the school.
And it's like, you're just gaslighting.
Yeah, you bully.
You know what you did.
You know what you did.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Duncan walks over. Hey, it's fine.
yeah, he's like, he'll be all right.
Let's just turn around and pretend the squash is down, and we'll just pretend like it didn't happen.
And then in the middle of the night after the dance, Keith gets a phone call from Alicia that Wallace never came home. So he's out looking for Wallace all night. Keith comes home in the morning. Veronica's home, like, making breakfast. And she's like, were you out all night? Where have you been? Which is hilarious because, you know, she had been the one who was at homecoming.
Yep.
And Keith is like, have you seen Wallace? Like, he's missing. And she's like, oh, God, no. And then we end.
Yep. And he's driving away with
His
Nathan.
father.
Yeah, into wherever. And it just sucks. It sucks.
It sucks.
It's the worst.
Oh, I will say one of my favorite moments, I didn't write it down, but it did make me laugh, is when Duncan picks Veronica up for the dance and she decides to leave the CD.
Mm-hmm.
Keith is like, tell Wallace I'm rooting for him. And Duncan's like, really feeling the love from the Mars family. And Veronica goes, it's like rooting for the Yankees.
100%. Spot on.
Like, that's great.
It is fantastic. Yeah, I loved it. Everybody knocking Duncan down a peg.
Which is the appropriate way to knock someone down, not the
Yes.
way that
Jackie does it.
Jackie does it.
No, vindictive and petty.
Yes, fuck.
But yeah, I just intentionally driving Wallace away from the show is just the stupidest idea, and it makes me so angry.
Mm-hmm.
Don't like it.
Me neither.
So yeah,
Be back soon, Wally. We miss you.
I know. Seriously,
And Veronica calls him, and she's like, I can't lose another friend.
I know. That's
And he
so
doesn't
sad.
answer.
Mm-mm.
And I'm like, this little bitch. That's it. That's the end. Wallace and I are done. Wally and I are over. I'm sorry if you can't, even if you're like, hey, I have to go figure things out, or I want to try things out with my dad. That's fine, but tell me.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to be
Communicate.
Yeah, communicate.
We're friends.
Thought we were best friends. We were going to be siblings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Remember those times?
Bunk beds?
Bunk beds.
Um,
But yeah. I'm not happy.
me neither.
So, on that cheery note, plugs?
Plugs. You can find me at butreallythough.com, though spelled THO. I post free coaching content on Mondays.
Free.
It's also on my YouTube channel. And I post blog posts about different ways to educate yourself as a white person on anti-racism, or, you know, cutesy things like how to redo your patio, or things that I've bought that I like to read or do or look at because we're in quarantine forever. Mm-hmm. We also have another podcast. It's called But Really Though. It's a conspiracy theory, tall tale, urban legend, myth, and now historical fact
Yeah.
podcast. The last week we took a pivot to talk about Black history that we were not taught in school or was whitewashed in our textbooks.
Yep.
So I took a deep dive into the Black Panther Party and talked about Fred Hampton and the FBI's COINTELPRO program. And Brenton covered the Tulsa Race Massacre.
Mm-hmm.
All things that either we did not learn or did not learn in accurate detail.
Yep, exactly.
So check that out if you feel so inclined. We also have some lighthearted episodes. For example, Bigfoot.
Yeah,
Nessie. Important things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and then next week's episode will also be the same week as this that just went up. It will have gone up the day before this. Will also be historical.
Yes. And if you have anything from history that you think was glossed over, feel free to send it our way, and we will gladly include it.
Absolutely. On Twitter at but really though pod.
Mm-hmm. Though is spelled THO on all of those.
There you go. You can find this podcast on Twitter and Facebook at Mars Rewatch. You can find me on Twitter at Pyle Breton. That's Pyle. And yeah, I think that is everything from me.
All right. Well, stay toasted, marshmallows. Make some s'mores. S'more.